And the reason we're all excited about having 100 years is because it was a dead press club, and Bill did bring it back. As you leave tonight, if you'd like to join the press club, it's only $1,000 per person. I think it's, what is it, Deanna, is it $90 or $80? It's very... Tonight it's only $75, everybody. Okay. And you do not have to be a journalist to join. You just can't vote if you are not a journalist. We'd love to have you. Please join us. You'll come to our events every month, and we'd love to have you. And we want Bill Rosendahl to always be a member for the rest and forever.
I'm going to bring you the man of the hour, but first, Robert Kovacic, you're amazing. You're just absolutely remarkable. Thank you for hosting this with us. Robert Kovacic, anchor, NBC, award-winning journalist, and the man of the hour, Bill Rosendahl.
First of all, let me thank you all for coming here tonight to begin with. Everybody's time is as precious as the very air we breathe and the moment that we have. I have been saying all my life, until most recently, that all we have is the moment. And I've literally believed that's all we've had is the moment. As Michael Feinstein from Santa Monica, former city council member, is not in agreement. But then when it's your moment, where all of a sudden all you have is that moment, was quite a story for me. I did not think I was going to have cancer, and I didn't think I would be at death's door when all that happened. Just a little history note on it. It's true, I grew up in the 60s, pothead like everybody else. And if I had my way right now, the damn law would change, and it would be legal, and it would be dealt with from a health standpoint and a medicinal standpoint, and make sure that they're driving properly and all these other things. But when you look at alcohol, which of course causes violence, domestic violence, and car wrecks, and you look at drugs, where poor actors take various drugs to project their energy, they get hooked, and then they're considered criminal. It's all crap, the way we're doing our government today when it comes to health issues. It's a disaster, frankly. Unfortunately, having been 1 year ahead of the baby boomers and then collapsing the way I did, I learned a lot about health care in our great nation. First, you heard about, some of you know Swami X-Swami, Harry Hart, from Venice Beach days. When my first partner died, the word was out, Rosendahl, his partner died, and before you knew it, my house was filled with former homeless people. They had no place to live. The doorbells rang, people came with stories, and I opened the door and I let them in. I know I'm only passing through this earth. I have said this since the beginning of my sensibilities about life and death, that you can't take anything with you anyhow. And when I went to Luxor and saw all that stupidity of the old pharaohs, not only burying all these live people, but animals and food and gold and all this stupid stuff that you can't take with you. We're all in a hotel room, folks, and we check in and we do check out. Amen. And frankly, I have always felt that kind of energy about that. When it came to the press club, it was pretty simple. I'm a big shot cable executive. I believe in journalism. I really believe that the American people, the richest, most powerful nation on earth, needs to empower its people with information so they can figure out what to do and how to work in a democracy. But no, we went the other route, didn't we? In the 80s, the broadcaster punks went to Washington. And of course, the politicians are scared to death of local broadcasters in my little town in the middle of nowhere. That's the only way I communicate with my people, that they all got scared. And they changed the law where you don't have to give back, even though the public owns the airwaves. Anything. Which is where journalism fell off, and now it's bleed if it leads, and then we go to a break, and you get 2 minutes of horror stories, then you get a break, and then another 2 minutes. You're not learning anything. Your brain is being polluted by conversations where they go to a break right after they outline the question. It's insane the way it is. It's just wrong. And frankly, just to preach a little bit more about this marijuana business, which I have to do. Yes, I grew up in the 60s like everybody else. But then when I got diabetes, now this is really something of importance. My doctor prescribed 3 meds plus pot. He prescribed Janamit, Starlitz, and Actos, and then marijuana. I said, why marijuana? And he said, because of the neuropathy in your feet. It will help with the pain. And he wrote out a prescription for marijuana. There were no pot shops or any of that business then. And this was an internist at St. John's Hospital saying that. The sad part was the third prescription drug was called Actos, A-C-T-O-S. And we have since found out that that is responsible for cancer. And that unfortunately, women, it bounces right to their organ, both the kidneys and the bladder. For me, perversely, it bounced back to the 4th and 5th lumbar, tailbone, and shot down my legs with the pain of grabbing your bones and grabbing your nerves, and I was thrown to the ground. And in that moment, near death, I literally, 3/4 of my energy was not here on earth. In fact, Jackie Guthrie, Arlo Guthrie's wife, who was one of my dearest friends, calls me and says the cancer that she had that was in her breasts have now just gone, into her bladder. And she said, I think I'm going to die. And I said to her, I think I'm going to die too. And we talked about it. A week later, Arlo called me and said, Jackie died. And now we're having a memorial on the 25th of May up in the Berkshires. They have a 250-acre spread on the edge of a forest, and they have their own cemetery. And I'm going to be going back for that. It's not an easy trip for me to take. But Jackie called me her best friend, and I feel a sense of responsibility for that. And then I'm going to drop down in Wisconsin, where one of my nephews is going to be one of my caregivers lives. And then I'm coming back, and then I'm going to swear in Mike Bonin as my successor, first week of July. And then I will take a deep breath and see what I do next. But the cancer did come from that Actos pill. So please, if you know of anybody who takes that, please tell them not to. There's a big lawsuit. I don't join lawsuits because I don't deal with negativity. I just move on. I put the message out there, and I tell other people. One thing I want to say, when Michael Weinstein talked, when my first partner died, it was an awful, tragic death. And the only good news for all of us who went through that Holocaust is that people can no longer say they don't know anyone who is gay. It could be your uncle, it could be your brother, it could be the candlestick maker, it could be anybody. We're all over. And therefore, once you realize it's your family, it's part of you, you're going to have a different attitude. And so at least, if there was anything in that epidemic, it was the Holocaust, that we will never forget what we went through. Just like the Japanese will not forget what happened in Manzanar. Just the Jews will never forget what Hitler had done. Or the Armenians, when they went through their horror. Horror is horror for everybody. And we just can't afford, on our planet, to work from negativity at all. And I pledge to all of you, going forward, whatever the good Lord puts in my place, whatever I need to do to make the world a better place, I hope I'm given the energy and the strength to do that. I intend to do. God bless you. Thank you for making the press club what it should be, which is a great arm of the democracy, educating people, connecting them with the issues of the day.
Thank you, Bill Rosendahl. Thank you. Thank you for your long service. Thank you all for coming. Please join the press club. You can see Diana in the back if you'd like to join the press club. One of your colleagues, by the way, Bill Rosendahl, I didn't call out, but was here. Was Paul Krikorian, Councilman Paul Krikorian is right here trying to slip out, but I spotted him, and I just wanted you to know. Thank you all. Good night.
Good job, Maria.